Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Chesney. Come on!
Yeah, Kenny!
Come on, Kenny!
Yeah! Oh, come on!
Summertime's finally here. Old ballpark man is back in gear. On 49. Man, I can see the light.
Coming out of the tunnel, ladies and gentlemen.
School's out.
Come on, Kenny! Woo!
Hey.
Oh, that thing
Yeah.
was sick! Wow!
Awesome.
Look at that.
I got
How we doing, Kenny?
good dap. Nice clean dap. Nice clean dap. Everybody in the back. Nice clean dap. Kenny, you're a legend.
I was going to bring you this helmet, and then I walked in here, and all I see is helmets.
Yeah, a lot of
There's a lot.
Don't
I got a lot of.
And Kenny, like I told you, people just send shit.
Man,
literally-
you got a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
You got a lot of stuff.
That's a good way to depict that.
There's a lot of. I mean, there's a
sword.
lot of stuff in there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tons.
Hey, there's, I think a good way to describe our particular business is one that receives a lot of shit on a regular basis. Kenny, thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
Oh man, thank you for having me.
Okay, so obviously we got a chance to talk to you at the Super Bowl Radio
Yeah.
Row. Now you're in the middle of another summer tour that is like takes over every city you go to. Now this Thursday show that you're doing this at an amphitheater, not at a stadium. Weekend show is always at stadiums. You're alongside Zac Brown, Megan Maroney, Uncle Cracker, I do believe.
Yep.
This Thursday show here you're doing in Indianapolis. Was this like an added-on show? How did
we play-
Indianapolis get gifted with this Thursday night?
No, I mean it's by design. We play a Saturday show is a stadium show. So like a Thursday night is like an outdoor amphitheater, and then we have like tonight after the show, like we will fly out and we'll go. I play the Brewers baseball stadium Saturday
nice.
night.
Damn.
So we'll go up there, have a day off, and do sound check on a Friday, and then we play Saturday night. So it's basically every week of my summer is just like that.
Okay, and you earn that. You know, like obviously it's a lot of travel, a lot of work, a lot of juice, a lot of energy. You got to stay in shape, jacked.
Properly.
Kenny Chesney, absolutely jacked in this Thursday. But you are like the voice of the summer. Obviously, Jimmy Buffett
Thank
in the
you, man.
past
Thank you.
has gone and been
a
in the
dear
same
friend.
bucket. Okay, so I assume you guys got along very well because you two
Very
are
well.
kind of synonymous with the shows in the summertime.
Yeah, we got along. Jimmy and I were really good friends, and he was, you know, like we all have our heroes, you know, that we look up to, you know, and Jimmy was one of the first guys that taught me it was possible to paint pictures with words, if you will. You know, I mean, he was a great songwriter, and when I was a kid, I mean, I would just listen to that music, and it would just take my brain to different places, you know. And he was one of the first guys that told me that taught me that was possible.
Your vibes are very, you know, but there's some deep shit in some of your songs, though.
Yeah.
Like Get Along, we're listening to Get Along,
Oh, yeah.
and obviously you're telling multiple stories there, but there's like a deep life meaning in that entire thing.
Yeah.
How do you balance mixing the, I don't want to say shallow, but, you know,
No, but
flip-flop,
it's
yoo-hoo on the floor, and then like, hey, here's a life message.
Yeah,
that you should
I
listen
can
to.
tell you that it's I edit myself to a fault sometimes, though, because sometimes I do want to sing and say certain things that you might not say in a football stadium full of people, you know. So I edit myself, especially in my live show. Like, okay, I'm like next week or wherever it is, like on July, we're talking about it. We play the Chiefs Stadium, Arrowhead on July 6th after the 4th, and I'll do certain songs in there that I won't do tonight in Indy because it's just a different audience. It's a different thing, you know. So
yeah, but you have such a discography.
True.
I believe is the thing you have.
well,
the
but
ability
you
to-
learn. You learn what works and different, and you know you got to learn to read the room.
You never got booed off a stage. I
Not booed, but
no, the crowd's always. We made this graphic here of Kenny Chesney football.
Yeah.
This is Kenny Chesney football here.
hell.
The number ones on the side are like 4 albums worth, or 3 albums worth, depending upon the modern album. People are putting out 5-song albums right now, 6-song albums, which I assume you hate and all the old school music people hate. But like the amount of things that you've accomplished, the amount of songs that you have, you could technically, and it's just like Taylor Swift, which I know, obviously, massive piece of. Like each show can almost be its own album at this point, and you could just put out number ones live.
Oh wow!
As its own, like there is so many. Hey, way to go! You're talking good. You're doing good. But how do you go about piecing together what the set list looks like, and how come nobody plays the banger at the front, and at the back.
Please.
Right? Connor?
Yes, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. If someone listens to one song a billion times,
Yeah.
you can play it twice. You know, that is something that never.
Well, I
gets
used to
used.
do that before I had all those songs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we did that out of necessity. But putting together today's show, you know, we try really hard to give like.
It's going to be hot
people-
as shit, Kenny.
Yeah, I know.
They're saying like 92.
Yeah.
At 9, 10 o'clock
You're
at
allowed
night.
to bring
Yeah.
water, and they said though, so we're good.
Yeah, you're allowed to bring
Thank
2
God.
bottles of water, which is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Will you fluctuate the songs due to the heat?
Like I have this. It's just like that. Okay, so I can hit my foot on that button and I can talk to just the band and just the crew.
Ooh.
The audience doesn't hear. You know, I can say, okay, we're gonna skip this song, or we're gonna add this song, or look at the hot girl in the third row. Or, you know what I mean? Like, that's the way it is. You know, so we're just
Yeah, we
like-
have that as well. Yeah, we have that as
So
well.
it's just like that. So we will audible, if you will, like in real time. And if it's really hot, like the other night in St. Louis, it was really hot and it was lightning. We had to pause the show for an hour, and then we had to go back out and play. It was really hard, you know. But like tonight, it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And
Indie crowds are always good too. I think.
yeah.
You tell us, but Indiana.
oh, I've played
always
this
shows
place so many times, and then I played the football stadium a couple of times, and then every year's different. So
Let's talk about the football stadium.
okay.
The person that built that, alongside a group of great Colts, introduced Indianapolis to football, and the one with the biggest forehead now has a statue out front. Okay, and Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I know. Obviously, you and Peyton Manning have ties.
Yeah.
And you have ties to Tennessee.
Yep.
Tennessee's in the College World Series.
That's right.
Yeah.
They are.
Hey, let's
we
go.
go. Yeah.
Are we
Go,
paying
go, boys.
attention? How do we feel
Yeah.
about this?
I feel
Rocket
great
Top
about
getting
it.
back into championship conversation.
Yeah, and I don't know that Tennessee's won a championship in any sport in a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I know in football they haven't in a long time.
SEC's tough right now.
Tough.
Yeah. How do you feel about the state of college sports? Do you pay attention enough to know? Because there's a lot of
do.
Southerns,
There's-
I will say, that are very pissed. And for good reason, because what college football and
Used
college sports
to
is in
be.
the South, not just used to be, but in the South, it's like their blood, like this
Way
is
of
their-
life,
I don't
yeah.
want to say like a religion, because obviously
Right.
God and everything like that, but it is like very different than how it's viewed in a lot of other parts of the country. And I think the
Right.
South is the most pissed potentially about the future of college football, more specifically.
Yeah. I'm still going to watch it.
Bingo.
Right?
Me too.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I don't care if they're getting paid. I'm glad they're getting paid.
Conference realignment, Texas, Oklahoma.
I don't. Yeah, it seems weird. I don't know. I mean, like, it's just. I don't know. Is it all just going to be the SEC one day? I don't know.
So
Yeah,
allegedly it's
exactly.
going to be now North,
yeah.
Big Ten,
Yeah, right, I'm just-
and then South,
Yep.
SEC. And I think everybody kind of sees it possibly happening, but like the Big 12, obviously fighting like hell for that not to take place.
Right.
And that's West Virginia's obviously conference now running wild through that entire.
I guess I'm still going to watch. I mean, I still love the sport. I mean, I grew up watching college football with my father, and I grew up in Knoxville, so we didn't have a pro allegiance to anything. I mean, if we wanted to watch baseball, we had to go to Atlanta or Cincinnati. You know, and we didn't have a pro football allegiance. You know, it was all Tennessee football. So I'm still going to watch Tennessee play football. I don't care how much it all changes.
Well, you guys down in Tennessee are the most dedicated fans in the entire college football world. Highest price per beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Just came out.
$13 a beer,
$13 a
Kenny?
beer.
You gotta
Kenny, what the
kid
hell's
me.
going on?
Talk to someone, Kenny.
What the hell's going on? The business people down East Tennessee folks
go to
will drink
TCU.
beer.
Yeah. They'll pay for it.
Well, it's a supply demand right there, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fun place to go watch a football game.
Did you ever play there?
Yes.
How many-
It was Neyland Stadium in Knoxville was the first stadium show I ever did. It was 2003.
How many people?
Close to, it was 50-something thousand people there.
Did you see what George obviously just saw with George Strait?
It's insane. It was like
101,950, I think, or
Yeah, and he
905.
played in the middle. You know,
Smart.
so it's unbelievable, really. And I saw pictures of that and I was like stunned.
So many people.
Yeah, and it's what George has been able to do to sustain. It's really hard, you know. It's really hard, but it just goes to show you how powerful. I mean, music is.
Do you get worried about that?
Do I worry about sustaining it?
Yeah. Because you're selling out a stadium everywhere you go.
Yeah.
I think
And if you want to, if like he was talking about, you were in Boston for the Tom Brady situation, And I guess the last show is normally in Gillette or whatever.
Yeah, it will be this year too.
Yeah.
We always end in Gillette.
Boom. He actually said that.
No Shoes Nation, baby.
Always.
I understand that you didn't want to like kind of ruin that or whatever, but he was like talking as if you would have just said, "Hey, we're going to have a show in Gillette," like 2 weeks out, you would have filled it up. You're like that everywhere. That has to be an incredible relief or a great feeling. Like, what is that for you as somebody who, look at this, dude, everywhere you go, there's everywhere you go.
That was Soldier Field last week, yeah.
Yeah, but that's a big deal for your business, obviously.
Oh, of course. I mean, but look,
people aren't moving tickets in stadiums. Not a lot of people are
not a
moving
lot. I mean, there's a few. Yeah, but I can tell you that was built. That way, like, guys, I didn't wake up one day and go, okay, I want to go play Gillette.
Amen.
Yeah.
Like, it was built. I mean, it was like, I've been doing I went on the road in 93.
How old are you?
56.
You were 56 and 93.
93.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
No, I'm 56 now. Doing pretty good, aren't I?
Yeah. You're like 20, early 20s whenever you started hitting the road. Are you playing like dive bars, tiny?
Oh, yeah. I was playing anywhere they let me play. And I opened for Alabama the first year. The group Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
We know.
And I
In
was
a
like,
hurry.
whoa, this is like, I was a kid and I went with my mom and stepfather to a field in East Tennessee to watch Alabama play. It was like a big festival. And I was like, God, I thought they were the Rolling Stones. You know, it was just like the best thing ever. And then literally 10 years later, I was on the road with those guys. And it was like a strange existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you should see how we feel right now. You're basically all of our first concerts.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
That's how we feel.
When he was with Rascal Flatts, that was my first concert.
Where?
In Pittsburgh.
And you from Boston?
Yeah. Gillette. First one with Eric Church.
You were at the Gillette and with Eric Church.
Yeah, well, my body was there. My brain was asleep.
There's another question. So we're from Pittsburgh, obviously. So whenever you go to Pittsburgh, it is an event. They tried to kick you out of the city.
The holiday.
How
A
many
couple years ago they did.
17,
Yeah.
16 or 17, something like that.
But they were just having a good time. You know, they should be happy we didn't do 2 nights.
Yeah,
you know what I
there
mean?
you go.
Which is something you could do anywhere.
Well-
and you go from dive bars in '93 to selling out stadiums.
Man, we were playing everywhere. We would play anywhere they would let us play.
And what are you doing? You doing covers then, or are you doing your own
Yeah,
songs?
and I would like you said, like I had a one-hit record, and sometimes we would we'd play a state fair or a bar or whatever, you know, and I would play my one-hit record, and then I would.
What was the first one that got you?
The first one was a song called "She's Got It All." That was that was my first number one.
Oh, yeah.
record. And
I'm allowed to play your music.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm allowed to.
Absolute banger.
that's it. That's an old one. It's an oldie but goodie. We might throw that out tonight. Indeed.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God! Don't even. I hear my voice when I.
Oh, I do the same thing.
Oh, God.
I hate me too. But you're great, Kenny.
So you can't listen to your own.
I can't even listen.
So when you walked in and it was playing,
Kenny, listen to this. Kenny, banger, dude.
sounds good.
Like when I hear that person, I hadn't figured out yet where my sweet spot was in the studio as far as singing, you know. So a lot of times I would cut songs up here, and I didn't really know that I shouldn't. But I hear that that era of me recording music. When I hear those songs on the radio, I go,
Hold on, though. Listen, without those songs, you obviously don't get to there. So
No, it's true.
Every
Needed 'em.
decision is a stone on the pathway to selling out every stadium.
Okay, I agree. Okay.
Which is probably from one of your songs that you sang. I just probably checked that. But Morgan Wallen had a situation, and I assume you all are close in the country music world.
I've met Morgan several times. I'm very proud of him.
Stadiums as well. I mean, here we go. Andy also has a
rocking.
sick collection of J's as well, just like
Oh,
you.
yeah.
But I think a couple maybe months ago, he signed a deal with some record label in Florida whenever he was young. And they recorded some songs. They never got released or whatever. They didn't agree to have them released. And then he leaves, I think, and then he goes on to be who he is. And then that record label, allegedly, I mean, this is just from reading an Instagram post from Morgan Wallen, was then going to try to re-release those songs that he recorded. And he basically alluded to, like, I hadn't found my sound or who I wanted to be at this point, and he didn't, like, there's a reason they were released, like, he was not proud of them, and then they were trying to take advantage of them, like, that type of thing is seemingly how I read the entire process. Does it happen often whenever people make it? And, like, how important is, like, you're with Warner, and shout out to Anna. Anna, Dave.
Go Anna.
Literally 4 minutes before the show starts, I just bombard her. I can play music on here? Okay, sweet, because there's probably, and I told you this before we went on air, there has been a Southern white that has sued me before, and there was a chance a couple of, he's really good.
You want to elaborate?
Kenny, he's very good.
He's a good football player. 1993 when that song came out.
An older Packers quarterback.
Yeah, he could really spin it, Kenny. But we thought, there's a chance you could sue us, but then everybody in your team is so incredibly cool. But in the music world, I guess that's potentially possible all the time. Do you leave shit in the, like, you go in the studio, record something and not release it?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
And then who controls that forever? And
well, I do now, but there was a moment where.
Congratulations.
Huge.
Yeah, because I own everything now. But back before, when I was a kid.
You own everything right now?
Everything.
Wait, you're gonna sell that?
Weapon.
Yeah.
So, but
hey, that's genius.
Yeah,
that's business genius.
It's called control.
Yeah, it's also called, like, profit.
Dog.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Congratulations. That's a big deal in the music world, I think.
Well,
right?
you got to get there. You got to build that too. You just get like, but when I first got started, like anybody, you're not in a position to do that. You're just happy to get the opportunity and to move forward and build your audience. So I have so many songs that I've recorded that didn't make the record for whatever reason.
You just didn't like them?
Yeah, I didn't like them. I didn't like the way I sounded, or it didn't fit, or I had too many ballads, or this sounded too much like this song for whatever reason. And so they just didn't make the record. And if you don't, like, let's just say that you're on one record label and you don't, they own the masters, and then you move and to a different label, they have the opportunity to really release that stuff all they want.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
It's
crazy
really
business.
And
it's
it's
crazy content
do everything
business.
possible not to let them do that.
Yeah, and I guess the music world's also changing because the payment for songwriters due to digital streaming and everything like that. Because Luke Combs came on, and he talked about he's doing arenas as well.
Yeah, he's doing everything. I love Luke.
Yeah.
He's great.
He puts the shit out of those cups, dude. He's
got
former
touch.
rugby player.
Oh, yeah.
Guy's got real touch. But he talked about how the streaming era of music is obviously different than the album selling era of music, which you're obviously a part of in that entire thing. And then Napster comes in, and what a time that was. Justin Timberlake was doing that. Guy.
I know.
Oh, man.
I know.
Guy. Come on, Justin. Yeah, you got a driver, dude. Get boozed up, Justin. Stay.
Come on.
Whatever the case. Anyway, he said that the streaming thing. Anyway, the streaming thing. Luke Combs basically said, like, they're getting it figured out for the artists. Like, the artists are getting it figured out, and it'll end up being fair. But songwriters somehow, it's not really getting figured out.
No, let's just say those three guys wrote. I heard you playing American Kids or something, or Get Along, whatever it was when I came in.
Summertime.
Let's just say that they wrote it. Okay.
Congrats, boys. It's
There we go.
But you sang the song, and so you're going to get paid. They figured out how to pay the artist, but they just haven't figured out how it's called greed. And they haven't figured out how they're going to share it with the songwriters yet, which really sucks.
Which a lot of musicians were songwriters, right? So it's like, and obviously,
I was originally a songwriter. I mean, like, I still am, but I got started as a songwriter. But there used to be people in the album selling era of our society that made a very good living off just getting their songs recorded and not necessarily having them on the radio. It's called, there's a performance royalty and a mechanical royalty. Performance royalty is paid on what you hear. Like, if your song gets played on the radio over and over again, you get paid a performance royalty for that.
Radio still matters for country music.
Very, very much so. Yeah, terrestrial radio still matters, in my opinion. But mechanical royalties are album sales. Like, if you wrote a song and it was not on the radio, but it was just on somebody, it was on George Strait's record. George Strait sold 5 million of those records. You're going to get paid a lot of money just from having that song on there. But see, that model is gone.
Now it's only halfway. Now it's only performance.
So it's only, so for a songwriter, it's really changed.
Well, let's figure it out, Kenny.
I would love to figure it out.
Tone has a question for you, Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny, I mentioned how I saw you with Rascal Flatts, and it was right before they took off. But right now you're touring with Zac Brown.
What do you think that was?
That was 2004. I looked it up.
Wow.
Still doing it. That's 20 years ago, 2 decades.
nuts.
You look
20 years
younger
ago.
somehow.
Yeah.
But now you're
crazy?
touring with Zac Brown, who is another headliner, and you talked about how Jimmy was your mentor, and I think
Yeah.
the same for Zach. How is it touring with another headliner? Because my friends who were there in Pittsburgh said it was like 6 hours of just incredible music. How does that work out? Is it just
It works out great. You know, Zach toured with us in 2011 also, and then it's crazy to think that here we are 13 years later and still at a place where we, you know, still get to have music in our lives and give music to the world, you know? And so, but Zach, he should get, I mean, he doesn't have to be here, you know, but he agreed to do it, to go out with us. And for the fans, I mean, if you just wrap your brain around all the music that you hear, you know, and Megan's brand new and doing really well. And if it was 2004, we might have had Uncle Cracker out there with us too.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's still.
So he was like, that's right when the Sun Goes Down came out. So he's back out there with us. So it's crazy. Like the amount of music that people get to hear is a good. It is. It's about a 6 hour nonstop of.
Who's the incredibly Jack Tim
McGraw.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, McGraw is very jacked.
So jacked.
Yeah.
Zach's Jack now?
Yeah.
He might have, and Zach is obviously
Zach's all.
beast.
Yeah.
Sweet tats too. I mean, Zach, he's got great hat game too. I mean, he is.
Beard.
Tim McGraw, we've seen what his day looks like. He'll like run the hill at the amphitheater, and then he's flipping tires. I think he's swinging. Do you have like a daily routine? Obviously, you just stopped by our show. They thank you.
Yeah, I.
How do you not get boozed up every day?
Yes.
Good question.
Well,
summertime.
now
Because
my
you're
life
bringing a
has
party
changed.
to everybody's life.
Yeah, see, but I can't do that boozed up.
That's Zach told us that too. Zach Brown gave us like a big nobody.
So I used to try to live with the fans and act. You just I don't know. It was. Our life is much different out here now than it was in 2004.
Yeah.
In 2004, I mean, it was a barrel of fun, right? It was. But there became
Not
this
sustainable.
moment where I had to make a decision. Okay, am I going to do this or am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And I got to a point in my life where I couldn't do both. Like this year, we're going to do Gillette. We're going to play 3 nights at Gillette at the end of the year. So there won't be any partying for Kenny to get through 3 nights.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I have like, if you guys ever come to the show, I got a 2-person sauna and an ice tub outside my bus. So it's changed a lot since 2004.
Well,
and-
human knowledge of all that stuff has changed. a
Yes.
lot.
Right, exactly. But I haven't had alcohol since January 1st.
Congratulations. On purpose, obviously. This is.
Well, when I start to train to go on the road, you know, I'm sitting there, okay, the first week of January, and I'm trying to emotionally and mentally think about what it takes of me to be up there. And I said, okay, I'm not going to drink for a while. I'm going to get really lean, and I measure my food and just get ready
you look
cardiovascular
jacked.
wise.
Yeah.
I'm
It's working.
on it.
Yeah.
But then it just happened. All of a sudden it's almost July. So I don't know. It's not that I'm quitting. It's just that I realized for me to go up there on stage and do what I do now at this point in my life, I just don't want them to get all of me. I want them to get the best of me.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And I can't do that hungover.
How about, do you smoke any marijuana?
Never.
Never in your life?
Never. Well, college.
Okay.
But it's not a
That
part of
doesn't
my
count.
life. You know?
Yeah, but that weed back then.
I
no
had fun at
offense.
East Tennessee State.
Actual
You know, I did. I had a good time.
Yeah, you guys are cutting bushes down outside, smoking it up, rolling it up. That's great to hear about how, because you're treating it like a profession now. You know, like that
Yeah.
seems to be the difference. I had to do the same thing. I got arrested for a public intoxication. Alleged story, definitely drunk in public. And then it kind of just changed my entire viewpoint. Like, hey, you could throw this all away right now, or you can lock in. A lot of people can't make that decision.
Yeah.
So you do not. No.
I'm not saying I'm going to, look, I love getting on a boat in the islands too much to not have a cold beer.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
Hey, me
right.
too. Yeah.
But,
me too.
But I've decided that when I'm working, that it's just doesn't serve me like it.
Yeah. Ty has a
Sure.
question for you, Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny, I assume it's easier because your catalog is so long and so deep, but when you've been doing this for as long as you have, how do you maintain the competitive stamina of hey, I'm going to have to, obviously the set list changes a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm playing a lot of the same songs over and over and over
Yeah.
again. How do you still find joy in that when you're doing it so often? And are there certain songs where you're hey, never again? I'm never singing
Oh, I've
this
gotten there
goddamn
with
song
several
again.
songs. we don't do She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy this year.
Oh,
But see,
Kenny.
So good.
I
though.
got
We'll sing it.
so
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
so I did.
You know what it does, Ken? Turns her on.
Okay, so
She's always staring at me.
maybe we'll do it tonight. But it's like I did. I'm not sure if it was Anderson Cooper's first segment of 60 Minutes ever, but I was one of the first. I did a segment on 60 Minutes on CBS.
Journalist.
So he asked me. He goes, well, here's Anderson from New York, and he goes, tell me about She Thinks My Tractor is Sexy, right? And I'm thinking he does not relate at all, like.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So, but I said I was smart enough to record that song, and I said I was smart enough to never record another one. Because you can get
Away with it.
well, you can get away with it once, but then you can't have everything be that way,
Yeah.
right? So, but the answer to your question,
But it is true, though. If it runs like a deer,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No doubt.
Eyes light up.
Yeah.
I just telling you, I got so sick of singing it. So it's like we may throw it out every now and then. So
Hey, listen, don't let Anderson Cooper or these journalists decide what you're singing out of
that
these
was a
songs.
long time ago. I didn't stop singing it because of him. It was just I remiss. This was 20 years ago, and you can just tell that Anderson didn't really understand it.
Oh, buddy, you should hear what they say about us.
Oh,
Connor's got a question for
Yeah,
you.
Kenny, it feels like right now there is like this kind of boom in country music from
Yeah.
other artists and genres. Like Beyonce came out with an
Yeah.
album, and right now, like Post Malone is doing songs with he did one with
Everybody.
Morgan.
Who I
yeah,
think's
he's
great.
Doing one with Blake. Like
Why don't you get on? Why don't you
Yeah.
do it? You didn't even post any to.
maybe.
But anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, no. Actually, though, like, have other artists reached out from different genres? Like, hey, how do I get
Yeah,
into
a couple.
country music?
I mean, I did a song with Dave Matthews several years ago, and I
DMB.
did.
Man, you two, with the amount of money you've made off of tickets.
Oh man,
Holy shit.
Like that's one of the best. Like I don't go see live acts very much because that environment is my life. So when I'm away from that environment, I don't want to go back into that environment to see someone else. But I would go see like that band. I would see Dave Matthews, and I would go see, I don't know, whoever.
Boss.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would go see Bruce Springsteen every day of the week.
Bingo.
But
You guys that like Bruce Springsteen are really into Bruce Springsteen.
what?
He's the boss.
What do you mean?
Michael Cole has been to 170 shows, maybe? I think 170 shows.
Michael Lombardi, I believe, has been to 100.
You've been
to-
Yeah, and I love the. Hey, listen, I'll
love-
listen to a boss tune, but the
Well,
fans
that was
of
one of
his
the
are-
first guys, like we was talking about Jimmy earlier. Like when I saw Bruce the first time, because growing up in East Tennessee, I didn't understand the genius of Bruce Springsteen because we didn't hear a lot of it, honestly. So I was in college, and I was starting to play bars, and I was for tips, and then I realized how genius he was. And then I went and saw it live, and then I went, oh my God, this is a person that just doesn't give a little bit of himself. I mean, he gives everything, and I was stunned. I went, that is, if I ever get to do, and I didn't even know then that my life was going to turn out this way, right? That I was going to be doing this for a living.
Yeah.
But there was.
Do you
was
judge
this
your performances whenever you're
internal
done?
voice? Well, if you ever do, you gotta give all you can.
Do you judge yourself afterwards? Like, yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Like you're so mean to yourself, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet
Well,
you're so
the
mean.
last 2 weeks I've been like, we did the Philadelphia Eagles football stadium 2 weeks ago, and I was so sick that I had no business being up there that sick, but I didn't want to cancel either because it was day of, and people have come, they travel to come see you.
Oh yeah.
And it was hard, man. And after that show, I was really, really hard on myself. And then, the next week we played in St. Louis. I was still sick, and I was really, and at Soldier Field Saturday night, I finally felt better. But yeah, I'm hard. I'm hard on myself. Because if you think about it, I mean, people go through a lot to go to your show. I mean, it's just the parking and the walking in and
Getting out of the house.
$13 beers.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money. So when you show up sick, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. It's just hard.
Well, if you mailed it in, people would be pissed off.
Well,
Right.
that's
Showing up sick is not
true. I mean, you could be completely healthy and not care.
Sure.
That's
Bingo.
worse.
Yes, much
That's
worse.
much worse.
And
People
there's
respect you for showing up sick and then realizing like, oh wow, I had no idea that was an amazing concert.
Yeah. Well, it was really hard, but I'm really hard on myself.
Yeah, well, most greats are. Tom Brady actually just gave an answer to Colin Cowherd about like calling people and being like, "How do I know if I did good?" Because I'll watch film of myself when I played football and I'll think, "That's the worst football player on earth. Why is that guy in there?" He said, "I assume I'm going to do the same thing for me calling games."
Yeah.
And it's like everybody that is their harshest self-critic is normally the people that can make it. You know, that
Yeah.
you kind of have to have that filter on yourself. Back to Connor's question though, has there been any current reach out from any other? Because you make
not
hits.
current.
I mean, we just saw if we can put that graphic back up, you make bangers, which I think is at what everybody is trying to do from all these different genres that are getting that many number ones. You would assume that somebody would be like, and how would that work? They'd reach out to Warner and they'd say, "Hey, I want to work with Kenny."
Maybe, or just me personally, or whatever.
So let's say I want to put out a banger, okay, this fall.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to. I have a couple songs out. I have a couple songs.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have you know,
RIP.
to see it
Did
Japan.
Japan?
I mean, that is a whole. We should not get into that right now.
But
But it was a banger.
just
was.
one of the songs.
It was an absolute banger. But let's say somebody who was an actual musician.
Yeah.
They just reach like Post Malone right now. He's friends with Blake Shelton. He reaches out to Blake Shelton. I want to do a country song, and then they just get together and they start working on it, and then they can just do that. I assume with the business of it all, there's so much more shit to it.
There is, it can be that simple sometimes. Like if it's the label, if it's two different record labels trying to manipulate something to happen, that's always harder. So for me, like I'm not against singing with anybody if the song is there. Like I don't necessarily do duets or collaborations for the sake of doing them. Some people do just so they can get more award nominations and stuff.
Yeah, you
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we got a-
if the song is really great, then that always helps, you know? And
You and Tequila.
yeah, well, the thing about You and Tequila was I already had that song recorded, but I didn't know the voice that I wanted to be on it. And because I didn't want it to be just, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I didn't want it to be just a country artist that would be expected, right? So I was listening, I was at my house in the Virgin Islands, and I heard this girl named Grace Potter sing. I was going, wow, she was from New England.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And from Burlington, Vermont. And I heard her sing, and I was like, that's it. That's the voice. So I reached out, and 3 days later, Grace was in Nashville singing on You and Tequila.
That's amazing. We got a banger.
When it happens that way, it's really authentic and really great. But when it's put together, it can sometimes be different.
To pivot away from that to a different conversation, there's a Super Bowl champion music artist sensation now. Her name's Taylor Swift.
Right.
She won a Super Bowl with Kansas City Chiefs.
That's right, she did.
Congrats. She was at the party, the ring ceremony, but she had another job, obviously selling out stadiums in Liverpool and everything like that, so she couldn't be there. But obviously, you were a big part of the entire process, and obviously, you've seen her since she was a teenager into what she has become now, which is the most famous human on earth, and able to sell out a stadium
Easy.
anywhere she wants
Multiple.
to. She's ending this tour, I guess, in December, but if she wanted to, she could run it for the next 40 years,
Yeah.
selling out stadiums everywhere. Other musicians, how do they view Taylor Swift? What is the conversation about her business and everything like that? Is everybody trying to emulate that? Does everybody know that's an anomaly? What is the kind of thought process?
I don't know. I think that it's for those that know her, like I do, you know that the work that went into it. You know, it's easy to look at it all and go, "Oh wow, this is unbelievable. We're going to emulate this. We're gonna, because we are in an industry of followers.
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the way it is.
Copycat league, brother.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and same, I guess, I'd imagine in sports. You know,
Yes.
like they saw Belichick and Brady, they saw how it worked. Oh, we're going to figure out how to try to make that work for us.
Hire people from the organization.
That's right.
Anybody that
Yeah.
gets cut from the Patriots got signed to another team within 4
Yep.
minutes.
Yep.
That's literally how.
So I think that it's hard to emulate it though when you're like, when I was at the thing the other night in Foxborough at the Tom Brady Hall of Fame event, it was really interesting because Belichick was there and he came out and he talked, you know, and I was going, oh wow, this could be interesting to see what happens, you know. But they were talking about the amount of work. Like Tom was talking about, it was so hard during the week that Sunday was, they looked forward to Sunday.
Yeah.
Because Bill put them through so much during the week.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of like the same with with Taylor and the people that get to a point in their life where it looks easy, but it's not.
Yeah, oh yeah, and
You know,
getting
so
the work ethic.
It's yes, and it's that's the only thing. That one thing I can say about Taylor is she really has. I mean, first of all, she's a brilliant writer and a great artist, but she worked really hard.
Yeah, and I think that is the interesting thing, and that's why I think I was so fascinated by football people being so mad that she was being shown during these games, because that was the beginning. I'm not saying that's us at all. Yeah. Check our record. That we are
Bingo.
big fans of it, because I watch a documentary, because my wife is a massive fan of hers. So I watched a documentary, and what you just said was very what's the release, what's this, what's the marketing, where are we headed. She's a part of all of it. She's an absolute beast. So I thought like football people would be like, hey, this is a badass if I've ever seen it. And now she's with Travis Kelce, who's one of our greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
Like, it's a perfect situation. But I think more people are learning that about Taylor through this entire process. And obviously the NFL got a massive Swift bump, which is good for the game, which is good for the sport.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
And she's changed like her music. How hard is it to go from like what she started as with like her Fearless album and like very much country to now where she's kind of at like a
very,
pop?
very different. It's obviously not hard for her. It would be hard for me. Like if I decided, look, I can't make any other music than the music I make. I can't decide. Okay, well, I'm gonna make a pop record. There we go.
You could do it.
You can do it, Ken. Come on.
I don't know.
I'm actually pitching you to be in a pop record in about a month or so.
Like I sing the way I sing. You know, I just don't think it'd be authentic, and it would be very disingenuous for me to do that. But those that can are very. Of course, Taylor is just. I mean, she's one of the most amazing artists of our time.
Yeah,
you know, and very obviously very diverse.
Yes, a lot of different types of songs. His last album, you know, So High School was good.
Obviously.
You know, talking about Travis, we're up there. It's like when you're that personal with your music that you write, like you have to revisit things. Like that can't be fun.
That can't be fun.
You know, like,
but as a songwriter and as someone that creates and you write your life, you find yourself doing that.
Well, because when you're singing songs, they talk about songs you won't sing, and you said Tractor Sexy. It's like, I wonder if there's any songs that take you back to like a period of your life that was like maybe a relationship or a situation that happened, and then every time you sing that song, because there's people that listen to your songs and associate them with an era of their life.
Or a moment.
Yeah, or a moment. And there's some people that can't listen to songs anymore because it's associated with a relationship or something that happened, and when that song comes on, they actually, I can't hear this song. I couldn't even imagine for the people that wrote it and then have to sing it as well, and then just kind of power on to the next song.
Yeah.
That has to be an interesting thing.
I have a couple of those, but you know, you're like... Your life does change and it evolves, and what used to be really hard 10, 15 years ago is nothing now. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I was there, it happened, but I'm still going to sing it, right?
Yeah.
And so, luckily, I don't have too many of those. I mean, there's a couple of songs that have had out on the radio. When I hear them, it reminds me of a certain girl or a certain breakup, or or me getting. I don't know, said no to by a certain girl that I wasn't really happy about.
There's no way that would happen. No way.
Back in the day, you know, so it's
back in the day, there was a time.
But it's true, music does take us there, you know. It's
takes you back.
That's one of the most powerful things that we have, you know, is music and sports. Those two things bring people together more than anything in the world. I truly believe that.